Thanks to the Supreme Court's gutting of the Voting Rights Act, for many voters in southern states, it just became significantly more difficult to cast a vote in next week's election. Counties previously monitored through the Voting Rights Act have closed down at least 868 polling places since the Supreme Court's decision, a 16% reduction among the counties analyzed in the study. Out of those counties, 43% of them had cut back on voting locations. So clearly this is a coincidence. Let's bring up a map and you're going to see the various states that had these cutbacks. Texas cut over 400 polling places. 400. Louisiana, 100. I mean, you think that's random? Like, okay, Texas is much bigger, much larger population. Louisiana, that is a disproportionate large cut. Arizona, 200. Some of these states, by the way, are the ones, like North Carolina and Arizona, that are expected to be incredibly tight, could determine the path of the next 4 or 8 years for this country. And many people are going to find that it's just a lot harder to end up voting. The group that put out this report, the Leadership Conference Education Fund, said this about the effect of this 16% cut. Decisions to shutter or reduce voting locations are often made quietly and at the last minute, making pre-election intervention or litigation virtually impossible. These changes can place an undue burden on minority voters who may be less likely to have access to public transportation or vehicles, given continuing disparities in socioeconomic resources. Once an election is conducted, there is no judicial remedy for the loss of votes that were never cast because a voter's usual polling place has disappeared. And so for many voters, they may find that places that they previously voted just simply vanished, especially if they're in Texas.
Well, I have a remedy. You might find it controversial. I don't think it's controversial at all. Before I get to that, let me just, in case you're not aware of the ramifications of this and why they do it. So I'm going to play video 3 in a second, but they do voter ID laws so that poor people who don't have cars, for example, and don't have driver's licenses, have a much harder time voting because they think they're more likely to vote Democrat. So great. And you know that 25% of African Americans in the country don't have any ID with a picture on it because a lot of them live in cities too. They don't need a car. They can't. Some people can't afford a car. Some people don't need a car. You live in the cities, etc. So 25%. They know exactly who they're disenfranchising and for what reason. And cutting back early voting hours.
Yeah.
Well, and early voting days. Why would you do that? Because you want less people to vote. So now I'm going to show you a video of Paul Weyrich back in 1980. This is the guy who started the Heritage Foundation. These are all giant conservative groups. They're still around and they're still the most influential conservative groups in the country. Heritage Foundation, ALEC, and the Moral Majority. And listen to what he said about voting.
What I call the goo-goo syndrome. Good government. They want everybody to vote. I don't want everybody to vote. Elections are not won by a majority of people. They never have been from the beginning of our country, and they are not now. As a matter of fact, our leverage in the elections, quite candidly, goes up as the voting populace goes down.
So that was back in 1980. They've been doing this for about 40 years. That's the godfather of the conservative movement. He told them, hey, basically, let's make sure they don't vote. And who was opposed to them? African Americans, minorities, the list goes on, right? But that was the reason you just saw the map that you did with all those southern states. That's not an accident, because those are the southern states where whites are in charge, right-wing whites, and they want to make sure that black people with no power don't get to vote in those states. That's what they did. That's why we had to pass the Voting Rights Act. Now the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act. Now they're like, oh, great, we get to discriminate again. So what's my controversial reply to this? Why don't we do it too? And use the same exact ideology. Oh, no, hey, guys, you know, having all these polling places open. And by the way, that's the last part of the puzzle and the most important one and the one we emphasize. For what they do is they go into places that are heavily minority, heavily Democratic, and they take away the polls. They go, okay, now you got to travel a long way to go. And once you get there, you're going to wait on a really long line. Oh, you missed work on a Tuesday? Sorry. Oh, you got tired of waiting 7 hours because I closed all the polling stations except one that's super far from all of you and you all had to go there? Sorry. Okay. Well, there's a lot of places with Democratic mayors that are also in swing states that are also very important. Why don't we do likewise? Now, I know that, oh my God, you can't do that. But they're doing it right now, and there's no remedy. Once the vote has happened, it's over. You can cry all you want about, oh my God, it was an injustice, but it's over. So mayors in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, in a lot of the cities in Virginia, in Michigan, why not? Why not? Okay? And all I want you to do is the same exact thing as Republicans. And if anybody asks you, just take out the word Republican and put in the word Democrat and use their same talking points, use the same letters. Oh, the budgetary constraints. In Michigan, we can't even have clean water in Michigan. How are you expecting me to open up all these polling places? Now, I know that in Detroit, okay, you've got a lot of African-American voters and a lot of Democratic voters, but there's also some parts of Detroit that are more suburbs and Republican. Do all those suburbs need all those polling places?
Why can't they drive
I don't think so.
They probably have driver's licenses. They can go other places.
Yeah, you've got plenty of opportunity. All those suburbs in Philadelphia, do they need polling places? I don't think so. I think they should go right into the middle of North Philadelphia and West Philadelphia to vote. What? As the guy in Alabama says, don't be so lazy. Let's go to that video. Secretary of State in Alabama, okay? So we're going to show you two videos here. He claims he's on the side of civil rights guys as he's stripping down polling places in Alabama so black people can't vote. Listen to this guy.
I don't think that just because your birthday comes around that you ought to be registered to vote. Because Congressman John Lewis, who would tell you that he's my friend, Congresswoman Terry Sewell, who represents Alabama's 7th District, who my daughter had the privilege to intern for 2 summers ago in Washington, D.C., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Reverend Jesse Jackson, A. Philip Randolph, Whitney Young. I can name many, many civil rights pioneers, Rosa Parks. These people fought. Some of them were beaten. Some of them were killed because of their desire to ensure that everybody that wanted to had the right to register to vote and participate in the process. I'm not going to cheapen the work that they did. I'm not going to embarrass them by allowing somebody that's too sorry to get up off of their rear end to go register to vote, or now, because of what we've done, turn the computer on and register to vote because they think they deserve the right because they've turned 18. To me, that's no different than giving them a trophy because they played on a ball team. You only get a trophy if you win.
He is focused on winning.
Yeah, so I like the prelude to that. Let me list every African-American I know. For no reason. Some of my best friends are African-American. So now what I'm going to do is make it really hard for African-Americans to vote. So like an easier way to vote is if you get registered automatically when you're 18. Now you get registered for a lot of things. Jerry was telling me, like, it made good points. Like, hey, I automatically have to pay taxes. I automatically have to do a lot of things, right? Nobody says, oh, now, hey, get up off your ass and register to pay taxes.
You're required at 18 to register for the military.
That's right.
You're required to do that
Required.
when you turn 18.
Okay. So he's saying, I'm going to make it harder to vote because that's what Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King would have wanted. No, they wanted the exact opposite. The whole reason that they were willing to risk imprisonment and getting beaten and eventually getting killed was because they wanted it to be easier to vote. So this guy turns around and says, get up off your rear end. Yeah. Well, okay, then, hey, all those Republican suburbs, get up off your rear end and go to the middle of West Philly and vote. So, now look, do I want either side actually doing this? Of course not. Like, you know why? Because unlike the Republicans, I actually believe in democracy. I think everybody should vote, and then if the Republicans win, they won. That's democracy. And so, in fact, when I suggest things like that, sometimes
it's rigged.
Right. Some Democrats will get mad at me. Like, there's progressive groups in Washington. Oh, you're trying to get, like, hey, you want to do a convention for an amendment. Well, the Republicans can use that democratic process too. Yeah, that's right. It's a democratic process. Both sides can use it, right? Voting is a democratic process. Both sides can use it. I want everybody to vote. I'm the exact opposite of Paul Weidrich. But why are we doing unilateral disarmament? If these guys are going to say, hey, I'm shutting down polling stations because of costs, okay, and they all happen to be in Democratic areas, well, then Democrats should shut down polling places in Republican areas and go, hey, Republicans, I know you care deeply about the budget. I wouldn't want to run a deficit, would I? No, I'm so, golly gee, just like the coincidence you had in the South where you shut down all the polling places in black areas, I shut them all down in Republican areas. What a crazy coincidence. You want to play at this game? Then let's play. I don't want this game playing, but if you're going to do game playing, there's no reason why it should be one-sided.
Right, other than the hypocrisy that they would, then be accused
okay,
of.
Well, so are you. You're also, wait. You don't want to close down polling stations? Great, deal. Let's make a deal. See, that's the thing.
Right,
The reason
of course.
that
So
I
you're
would
saying
do
what
that,
would be the recriminations? It would be that. It would
right?
Be
They would say, "Hey, wait a minute, you're closing down our polling stations." Okay, well that's interesting. You're closing down my polling stations. How about we make a deal where we don't close down any polling stations?
right. There you
Or
go.
make it automatic, yeah.
Podcast the whole 2 hour Young Turks every single day, commercial free. All-Star Tuesdays, Aggressive Progressives, Old School, Post Games, TYT Classics. You get it all with membership. Do it now. tytnetwork.com/join.